It's absolutely insane up here.
Careful, careful, careful.
There's lots of things that can go wrong.
The mud just does not stop.
You can't stay on the road. You just hope you make it.
It's a battle against Mother Nature. It's not for everyone.
Let the fun begin.
It's pretty gloomy yesterday in Atlanta, but today spring is here. The sun is shining. Temperatures near average, you're 64 degrees. Look at the blue skies, absolutely fantastic. If spring has sprung and you're thinking about putting out the nice flowers, maybe planting your garden, it might be a little early to do that. Though last year, our last freeze was at the end of February. Could that happen again? And can we officially say goodbye to winter? I wouldn't plant just yet. So we look at averages, right? And that's usually what we base that planting season upon. But you know, every year isn't average. Usually it's above or it's below and never right on the money, right? In terms of average first freeze or last freezes across the South, March 10th through the 30th across the Gulf Coast states, end of March to early April, say for the Atlanta metro area. How about up here towards Philadelphia, DC? You're in the April 10th to 30th range, and up towards Boston and in New York State, across parts of the Midwest, we're talking late April into the middle of May and even more than that as you take a look at the higher elevations into the mountains out towards the west. So last year, Atlanta, it was the end of February, so you could have done it early last year. Not that you necessarily knew that by the time it came around. Charlotte, last year, your last freeze was the 8th of March. Typically, that happens closer towards the 30th. And look at Birmingham and Nashville. You usually don't see your last freeze until the beginning of April. So what can we expect in the week ahead? Are we going to stay above freezing? Or are we going to be staying below? Your low average is 41 degrees in Birmingham, but check out your forecast, getting down to 33 as we head towards your Monday morning. That's downtown. Keep in mind, some of the outlying areas could make it below the freezing mark, so I'd hold off here for sure. What about you in Nashville? Check it out, Sunday morning, Monday morning, down below the freezing mark. So give it another week or 2 weeks, or maybe even more. Well, it has been a couple of weeks anyway since we had our back-to-back storms, which slammed the state of Texas. The historic freeze left millions of Texans without power or clean water. Scenes like this played out all across the state. Now a new crisis is brewing that could impact all of us. NBC's Morgan Chesky shares how the storm could send your grocery bills sky high.
See what they look like.
This morning, Texas farmers still waiting to wake up from a winter nightmare.
Everything just froze and stayed frozen way too long.
For Bradley Ottmers and Catherine Tanner, it's a small miracle their goats and chickens survived after 15 days without power or water. But take a walk in the fields at Hatton Hart Farm.
That's the rotting smell and odor of the cabbages and cauliflower and broccoli.
Cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, the whole way down.
Absolutely.
All of it gone?
Yes.
Nearly their entire winter crop, 80% of it gone. The storm encasing everything in ice, ruining produce bound for farmers markets and restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, this field was gorgeous, and our cabbage was like rock star cabbage. Yeah. It was truly beautiful. It was the best cabbage we've grown since I've been here. We didn't prepare financially for this sort of loss.
I mean, could you have?
No.
Statewide, much of the same story. And with Texas one of the top agricultural states in the country, the impact could mean your grocery bill is going up. Shoppers across the U.S. have already been paying more for food, with increased demand during the pandemic being a key factor.
The West Coast and the East Coast are really being hit the hardest with the deepest price increases, but everyone has felt the impact on their wallet.
In 2020, U.S. food prices increased by nearly 4% over 2019. And with more consumers eating at home due to the pandemic, home grocery prices had their largest spike in 9 years. So far this year, food prices are still climbing. And while some experts say some price relief may be on the horizon, a brutal winter storm's impact isn't helping, with many Texas farms still reeling.
You have to prepare for the worst case scenario, and sometimes it happens.
A message that Catherine and Bradley are taking to heart.
There are a lot of lessons learned on ways to be more prepared and resilient, and we can't predict when a storm like this is going to happen again, but we can't wait for that. We've got to be prepared.
And right now, here's a look at Miami. And temperatures are running in the lower 80s. We've got a cold front that's working its way through. And a cold front in Florida often means a break from the humidity and some pretty awesome weather, frankly. And that's what's going to happen. It'll be a little too warm today, mid to even upper 80s. At least that's what it's going to feel like. But the next couple of days, temperatures are going to be in the upper 70s, and it's going to be dry in South Florida. So hopefully you enjoy that. Here's the front that's coming through. Thunderstorms well offshore, and the chance for seeing any thunderstorms today is looking, I think, less likely in South Florida. However, keep an eye on things. So there's still a few showers out there with clearing skies and more stable air to the north. Again, the next couple of days going to be feeling pretty good with those slightly cooler temperatures coming into South Florida.